Hi, I'm deeply enlightened. I know this because I bought a shirt that says Namaste AF. And I only drink mushroom coffee now. Regular coffee? That's for people who haven't activated their 12-strand DNA yet. No judgment. Look, I used to be like you. Confused, emotionally available, open to feedback. But then, I meditated once on a cliff, and suddenly I was like, I don't just have a third eye. I am the third eye.
Huh?
And then I unfollowed everyone who didn't support my truth. See, I'm not just spiritual. I'm certified spiritual. I've got a laminated LiQWYD Level 2 certificate and a handwritten note from my breathwork coach that says, keep expanding. You're almost too much light for this earth. I hung it above my mirror, just so I can remember who I really am. Even when I'm yelling at someone in traffic. I've outgrown judgment, of course. That's why I now call it discernment. Like when I said that woman's aura looked clogged. I wasn't being mean. I was helping.
Huh?
She should thank me, honestly.
Huh?
And yes, I do still get triggered sometimes. But I don't call them triggers anymore. I call them sacred reflections of misaligned frequencies. Like when someone questions me in a group chat, or says astrology is just personality fan fiction. Which is ironic because Mercury is literally in Sagittarius right now, and that's what makes people skeptical. So it's not their fault. It's just they're not as awakened yet.
What?
Don't worry, I hold space for the uninitiated. That's why I start every conversation with, I used to think like you, before I quantum leaped into sovereignty. Then I give them a free link to my chakra quiz. You can usually find me posting mirror selfies with long captions about soul embodiment.
Oh my
Which
God.
is just code for, I want you to know I meditate and moisturize. And I'm always reminding people that I don't follow trends. Unless that trend is astral projection while eating gluten-free brownies. Which is a thing. And you'll understand once you align with your galactic lineage. Some people say I have a spiritual ego. And I say, thank you.
What? Oh my God.
Because if you're going to have an ego, at least let it wear mala beads and speak in light codes. That is the sound of spiritual ego to those with inner ears. To those doing the inner work, the ones who've cried into the dirt, surrendered their image, and learned to sit with a mess. spiritual ego sounds like an echo chamber in a gilded cage. It doesn't vibrate with depth, but rather with performance. It's an echo of old authority structures wearing feathers, beads, and hashtags. It speaks in language that sounds lofty but feels hollow. You might hear it say, "I've transcended all my trauma. I don't allow low vibrational people in my field."
Huh?
Or, "My guides told me I'm a 12D ambassador for planetary ascension." And yet the tone carries more about hierarchy than heart. There's a charge behind it. A subtle condescension disguised as wisdom. A refusal to be seen as vulnerable or ordinary. It resists being humbled. But to those who face the dragon in the mirror, this spiritual gloss smells of bypassing. Of someone who hasn't wept through the humbling phase, or who zipped themselves back up too quickly to declare the journey complete. There's a crisis of spiritual performance. A need to look like a leader instead of being one. And that often starts with the crowd, not the guru. Because most people haven't yet internalized their own authority. They still need the costume, the robe, the drum, the accent, the glow, "I downloaded this from the Palladians" monologue. Craving certainty, not truth. Wanting someone to hold the staff of Moses so they don't have to walk the desert alone. This opens the door for plastic shamans. Those who adopt indigenous or esoteric traditions without the lineage, depth, or permission. It's cosplay spirituality. Performance without principle. But here's the kicker. The crowd trains the shaman. Because when a true medicine person speaks gently and says, "I don't have all the answers," the crowd fidgets. They want the light show, the anointing oil, a 6-week course to become a galactic priestess. And when someone does give them all that, with drama, language, and promises of DNA activation, they flock to it. Even when their soul knows what is synthetic. The truth is quieter. It's less flattering. It sounds like I'm still unraveling. I was wrong last year. My guides corrected me. Sometimes I still want to run away from intimacy. Or I don't need a stage to be useful. The real ones, they're not yelling on Instagram. They're out in the field or holding the line during a dark night or washing the dishes while whispering prayers. The people who could have worn regalia but chose humility, who can wear feathers but choose minimalism. We don't need them. Because spiritual sovereignty is not about being followed. It's about being whole. So what do we do without the regalia? We learn to see with our inner eyes. We start to recognize resonance over rhetoric. We notice how someone makes us feel, not just what they say. We become unglamorous in our devotion. We trust the quiet path. And when someone comes along barefaced, half sure, but deeply honest, we learn to follow that frequency instead. So, on this next episode of That Might Be a Spiritual Ego If... No, but really. So listen. You're out there clutching your Lemurian seed crystal and telling people you can't eat gluten because your star family forbids it. Hey, no judgment. But it might be a spiritual ego. If your spirit guide sounds suspiciously like you, but British. If you say, I don't resonate, just to get out of helping someone move. If your biggest trauma was when Mercury retrograde ruined your TikTok reach.
What?
You might be in a deeply committed relationship with your spiritual image.
Huh?
We've all been there. I once spent $88 on a cacao ceremony and left hungrier than when I got there. One time, I fasted for 7 days because I thought it would raise my vibration. Turns out I was just dizzy and hangry.
Oh no.
That wasn't ascension. That was low blood sugar and unprocessed mommy issues. But here's the thing. Real awakening, it's not cute. It's not curated. It's crying in the parking lot of Whole Foods because your shadow just slapped you mid-latte. It's realizing your twin flame might actually be your karmic landlord. It's saying, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm still here. So bless the gurus and bless the charlatans. They're just parts of us playing dress up on the way home. And when the robe falls off and the drum breaks and the Wi-Fi goes out on your Zoom moon cycle and moon circle, maybe, just maybe, that's the moment Spirit finally gets a word in. So take off the crown. Unclench your third eye. And remember, The divine doesn't care how many followers you have. It just wants to dance barefoot with you in your weird little living room. Namaste, and pass the skeevy snacks.